Hello everybody and welcome. It is Monday, end of my day on Monday. I figured I'd put a video. It has been a couple weeks since I put one out and I figured I should be putting another video out. Yeah. And my baby is eating her dinner. So I'm just going to do that while she eats her dinner and while I pump. So I get a lot of messages and inquiries about asking me questions about advice for people's specific situations because they're thinking of getting into the IO field, or they're thinking about getting into clinical field, or they're thinking about doing both like I am, and any advice that I have for them. So I figured I'd do a general advice video and then go off of that. If people have more questions, they can send me more questions and I will talk to them. But yeah, so I'm thinking back, the reason that I haven't put out any videos lately is because I've been very busy. That's always the reason. Just very tired and busy. Juggling, finishing my dissertation. Oh yeah, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Just as a background, I have a master's in industrial organizational psychology. I have a master's in clinical mental health counseling, and I'm finishing a PhD in industrial organizational psychology. And I work full-time as a child trauma counselor and project coordinator for a nonprofit. Okay, now fast forward. Anyways, what was I going to say? Okay, so my general advice, basically for thinking of this, of doing what I did, which, if you're not familiar with what I did, in 2018, I started my graduate degree in clinical mental health counseling and my doctorate in industrial organizational psychology at the exact same time. So first week of January 2018, boom, I was in both programs. People say, don't do that, you'll stress yourself out, it's too much, blah blah blah, and if you aren't going to do it, don't work. I worked the whole time, did not stop working. Sometimes I worked part-time and sometimes I worked full-time. Near the end I worked full-time because we bought a house and then we have a baby. So I always I always believe in the idea that school should work around you. You should not work around school. I don't know where the idea came from that your whole life should revolve around school. It really should not. I do not condone that at all. I believe that you should live your life the way you intend to live your life, and that if you want to do school, you need to find a program that fits around your life, right? It's kind of like the whole, what movie was that where, Monster-in-Law, where Jennifer, what is her name? Lopez was like, I'm designing my wedding dress to fit my body, not the other way around. That's the way school should be. You should design your life you should design school to fit your life, not you to just, you know what I'm trying to say. So anyways, now, okay, do I think you should do it? If I could go back in time to when I was in my undergrad years, I would probably have stayed a nursing major. I was a pre-nursing major at my alma mater, and I was gonna transfer to nursing school. And the year before I was gonna transfer, near the end, I was like, I don't want to be a nurse. I want to do something in psychology because I have good grades in psychology. I find the subject enjoyable and blah, blah, blah. I didn't know at the time that you could be a psychiatric nurse and do counseling. I had no idea. Now you can't do IO, but I could have gotten an MBA. That would have been easier. I think, personally, if you're interested in counseling and you're interested in IO, well, I guess MBA and IO are not the same thing. They're two different things. I guess I still could have gotten a master's in IO psychology. I don't know. I'm just saying I think that it wouldn't have taken as long to finish. I was in school, all my life I've been in school and I'm almost 30. So I think I would be done by now, and I would be enjoying, you know, what that means to be done with graduate school. Why do I say I would have gone the nursing route? Because if I had, I would be able to be a prescriber if I were an NP, like a nurse practitioner. So my thought is I would have finished my RN degree, become an RN, work 2 years, go to NP school, nurse practitioner school, finish a master's in nursing, and become a, you know, nurse practitioner. And then I'd be able to prescribe in my state, as well as do counseling if I wanted to, have a private practice, things like that. And then I would also have to lay down. Lay down. Lay down. I'm training my puppy to stay in her corner when people eat so that she's not all up under them. It's really annoying. So when the baby's done eating, and I will call her over, and then she'll come and she'll feast on everything that's left over. But anyways, that's what I'm training her to do. Otherwise she'll be like right up under, like this. And it's super annoying. I hate that. Okay, so are you done? Alright, let's just pause here. Okay, so, yeah, so what I would have done is I would have gone that route, and I probably would have gotten like a master's in IO Psych and just stopped there. Honestly, like, if I really wanted to do research, I would just go back to school again and get a doctorate in nursing. And then, I mean, my research would be completely different. But it doesn't have to be completely different. It could be like, there's so many different degrees now. You could do like administrative leadership or healthcare. Like, what was that one thing that somebody did that I know? Not health administration. It was like something with leadership and health and something like that. It was like organizational, but it was healthcare. I don't know. I could have done that. Like, there's a lot of things that you could do. So I think I would have taken my time more. I think finishing, like, I think a lot of, like, people do this out of college where they have this little panic, what am I going to do now type thing, especially if you didn't major in anything that's, like, technical or hands-on, like nursing or engineering or something like that. If you majored in something general, like business or psychology, then you're just, like, freaking out. What do I do now? Unless you always had it in your head that you were going to do a certain thing, and you still want to do that thing by the end of college, then you probably didn't experience that. But I think most people do experience that little mild panic, and so I kind of just jumped into, this is what I'll do. Because I did find IO psychology interesting. I did want to learn more about it. I still, you know, obviously I am learning more about it. I still find it interesting. But I'm just saying, I think a faster route would have been nursing. Faster and probably more lucrative, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. I'm not done with my schooling yet. I'll probably make quite a bit of money. But I mean, more lucrative faster is if you go the nursing route and then you just kind of do not administrative, but like organizational stuff on top of that. That would have been a good idea. But again, you know, I think especially, you know, from where I come from, you don't see a lot of psychologists, you don't see a lot of counselors, you don't know what the heck an IO psychologist is. I had nobody to bounce ideas off of. I had nobody to, you know, tell me, hey, I had an academic advisor who told me, grad school isn't something that you do just because you don't know what to do next. She's very much right. But I was going to do grad school regardless. I knew that. It was just a matter of what exactly I wanted to study that I was confused about. But yeah, that's what I would have done. Do I regret what I've done? No. I don't regret it because I have a lot of doors open to me because I went the route that I went. Do I regret not just doing a master's in clinical mental health counseling and leaving it there? No. because I love the IO side of things, and I learned a lot that other people don't know. I can easily find issues in organizations, and I know how to solve them, and that's not something that you get from a counseling degree. That's not something that you get from a nursing degree. That's a very unique skill set, and I enjoy having it. Do I regret not just having an IO degree and stopping there? Absolutely not. Here's why. I am somebody who is a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G-er. I like to have lots of plans. So when I was going into grad school, I know, and this is something that if you're interested in IO, you need to know, IO psychology is a very hard field to get into, depending on where you live. Even if you live somewhere like New York or Texas, where the IO field is booming, you know, it's still very competitive because across the country there's just not that many jobs in IO. But in those areas of the country there's a lot of jobs, but they're competitive to get into. So it's hard. So I knew I need a plan B just in case I can't find something in IO. I have something to fall back on, and that's my counseling degree. However, at the same time, I always wanted a job that allowed me to do IO and counseling, and people told me it could not be done. They said, no, do one or the other, or people who are not in the field, by the way, people who just, you know, are just scared of taking chances on themselves, so they tell you to not take a chance on yourself. But people like that told me, oh no, you know, but I did find a job that allows me to do both. And it pays me much more than what I would be making if I were just a counselor, believe it or not. So I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm happy with the decisions that I've made. I think that you just have to really take a risk on yourself. If you're really passionate about doing something and you have specific interests, like I do, and you're like, hey, I want to do both. Don't let somebody say, oh, you shouldn't because it makes you look like this or that, or you're going to stress yourself out, or blah, blah, blah. Do what you want to do. It's your life. You know your limits. I tell people this all the time. If you think you're going to get stressed out, then you probably will be because you know your limits and nobody else does. Right? Oh, my pack and play is right there, but that doesn't mean my baby sits there and watches TV. That just is where I change her for the time being. I also made this awesome play area over on this side. Yeah, for her, for when I'm working from home a couple of days a week. But anyways, that's all just to say, yeah, no, I have no regrets. Would I have done things differently, knowing what I know now? Probably yes, because I would have been making more money faster. Whereas now I have to kind of like build my way up, where I think if I had gone the other route or the nursing route, I would have gotten there faster, you know. But that's just the field of nursing. So if you have, but also I was interested in nursing at a point. It's not like I just have no interest whatsoever in nursing and I just thought, oh, look, be a nurse. No. I have a lot of interests. I like medical stuff. I like psychology. I like business. I like a lot of things. So that's why I was thinking nursing. But if you're like not a person that is into that, I also was a dialysis technician for a couple of years. So it's not like I'm completely new to the medical field. That's why I was thinking nursing. It's not like it just came out of nowhere. But so just some background information there. But anyways, the biggest advice I have also is to think about your finances. How are you going to pay for school? If you are going the student loan route, what are you going to do to pay that off? Are there programs that you can be part of to help with like student loan forgiveness? Does your job have student loan forgiveness incorporated in it as part of the benefits? That's something to look into. A lot of mental health organizations do that. Or I think there's programs within the state that do that too. And I know for sure the Department of Education does that, but there's this whole thing where it was like super complicated to get student loan forgiveness, but now Biden apparently has made it easier. I don't know. I guess I'll find out eventually. But yeah. So think about that. How are you going to pay for it? What are the long-term implications? What are you thinking your budget will be in life? Do you want kids? Do you not want kids? That would also be a determining factor. Here's another piece of advice. Do not have kids during grad school. Oh my gosh. It is exponentially harder this year to do anything with a kid than it was in the past. And I've had, like I said, I worked full-time. I didn't say this. I worked full-time last year in 2020 with 2 clinical internships, and I was starting to work on my dissertation. Was I starting? Or was I full? I think I was fully into working on it. I wasn't starting. I started in the year before that. But, oh boy, that was nowhere near harder as it is to just do a dissertation, work full-time, and have a baby. Like, oh my gosh, it is a whole different playing field. So don't do that like I did. I always do things the hard way. But I'm almost done with my dissertation. I literally have got my results in the last couple of weeks, and I'm just doing the boring part, which is writing everything out. So yeah. But yeah, that's my little video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you want more updates on like how did my dissertation go? What was the dissertation defense like? What am I doing now? Blah 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 blah. How did I juggle all of the things I juggled while in grad school and blah blah blah. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you want more content. And yeah, thanks.